Hello, football fans. Welcome back to Why Football. Today I'm going to be doing the impossible task of predicting the 2020-2021 Premier League table. As a disclaimer, this is my opinion, and you are bound to disagree, especially if I put your favourite club lower than you thought. If that is the case, please leave your predictions in the comments below. I read and respond to every single comment, and that is no joke. Please make sure to sub if you're new around here. I really want to hit 500 subs before the end of September, so every sub means the world to me. And without further ado, roll the intro, then I will get into the predictions.
What we do here is go back.
So lads, here's my table colour coordinated so that the teams relegated will be in red and the teams making the top four will be in blue and the champion gold. Unfortunately, one team has to finish last each season, and I believe this coming season it will be West Bromwich Albion. Now granted, I haven't watched a lot of Championship football last season, but I saw a couple West Brom games and read articles and highlights of every team before making this prediction. Signing Mateus Pereira permanently is a great bit of business at just over £8 million. But with Oliver Burke being the only other rival so far this season, I can't see West Brom staying up, unfortunately. This of course may change as there's still 8 weeks or so left in the window, but I can only make this prediction of current signings and it hasn't been good enough for West Brom. Finishing in 19th, I have Fulham. I watched every playoff game this season, so saw 3 Fulham games in this time. I don't think that they were particularly great in the final, but 2 goals from their left back in extra time edged it. I like Scott Parker as a manager and his philosophy, but I think he's too naive to carry Fulham through a relegation battle in its first full season of Premier League football. I actually like their signings of Anthony Knockaert, Harrison Reed and Mario Lemina in particular, so I put them just over West Brom. In 18th, I have Aston Villa. Let's be honest, Villa were very lucky to survive last season, and I think their luck will run out this season. Right now, they still have Grealish, and even if they do keep him, I do see him having a mental dip after not getting his big name move this summer. I like Douglas Luiz, but the core of the team still needs work. Matty Cash is a great signing from Forest, but even then a right back is not going to solve their problems. They need a top-notch striker to put away their chances to stay up, especially if they do end up keeping Jack Grealish. In 17th, I have Brighton, surviving and only just. They have brought in a heap of players, but no real big names, and the loss of knockout to relegation rivals Fulham, and even Aaron Moy, who I was a big fan of, means I see him in another relegation scrap, and only surviving due to Premier League experience in players like Lewis Dunk. In 16th, I have Sheffield United. Wow, what a season for Chris Wilder and Sheffield United last season. Unfortunately for them, I see this as a less pleasant season for them. They still survive, but the loss of Dean Henderson will hurt them, and I do not see Ramsdale as a good enough replacement, especially for the money paid. Their system is not new anymore. Teams are used to it now, so it should be easy to combat now, unless Wilder changed it, which I doubt after the success last season. Next, I have West Ham. People always overestimate West Ham at the start of this season, with some people even going as high as 7 after the summer last season. This time I see West Ham as coasting through the season after having scares of relegation around Christmas time, but then pulling it together by February-March. In 14th, I have Crystal Palace. The signing of Eberechi Eze from QPR is a great one, and if they do end up keeping Zaha, I have Palace easily surviving this season. In 13th, I have Leeds. In their first return to Premier League football in 16 years, a 13th league position will be great for Leeds, no doubt, and I can't see their fans being disappointed in that, to be honest. Bielsa ball will be in true effect, and Marcelo Bielsa has a tactical nous and experience to navigate the Premier League, I have no doubt. My only fear for them is suffering burnouts, due to their high press style being tested even more in the Prem, and the injuries that follow from this. In terms of arrivals, Helder Costa, Robin Koch, and Rodrigo are all outstanding signings, with the latter being a great goalscorer. And with no big names leaving thus far, I see this as a great return for Leeds. Next, I have Southampton. After disastrous start, Southampton really picked up towards the end of last season, with experienced players like Nathan Redmond and Danny Ings really showing up. The loss of Højbjerg in midfield will hurt them, and my concern is whether Danny Ings will be able to replicate his blistering form from last season. But other than that, their team is solid, and the addition of Kyle Walker-Peters and Mohamed Salisu can only bring good things, no doubt, for Southampton. Rounding up the bottom half of the table, I have Newcastle. This is a controversial pick for many, especially with their takeover not working. I myself understand this is a big risk, but there is a lot to like from Newcastle. Hendricks is a great pickup from Burnley on a free transfer, and Matty Longstaff is looking like a promising youngster. Alongside Matt Ritchie, who I'm a big fan of, and Alan Saint-Maximin, who I believe will really kick on in terms of end products, I see Newcastle doing decent in the coming season, and their fans should be optimistic of the coming years for sure, irrespective of their proposed takeover outcome. In 10th, I have Everton. Carlo Ancelotti is a great manager and has improved Everton after a tough start under Marco Silva. It looks like they will be signing James Rodriguez, Abdoulaye Decore, and Alan, although none of these signings are confirmed yet. Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin are a good attacking partnership for them, although Moise Kean didn't have the impact we all thought he would. If I'm completely honest, I can see Everton finish as high as even 6th or 7th, but equally drop down to 14th or 15th due to their unpredictable nature, so I put them in the middle at 10th. In 9th, I have Burnley. We all know what to expect with Sean Dyche's team. They are physical and gritty in all their performances and grind out results. Nick Pope is an excellent goalkeeper and should really be taken over from Jordan Pickford in my opinion. Their backline is solid and always has been. The loss of Hendricks may hurt them a little, but other than that they've had no major incomings or outgoings in which they will look like much of the same this season for Burnley. My fear for them is that if you don't improve and invest in this league, you end up going backwards due to the competitive nature of the Premier League, so it may harm them in years to come. In 8-5 Wolves, Nuno's men will be disappointed to miss out on Europa League football after playing in it last season, although this may help them as Wolves have had a long last season and with a very shallow squad they were extremely lucky not to suffer many major injuries to key players. Jimenez is an outstanding striker and their backline midfield is equally experienced and solid. The loss of Doherty will hurt them, so I hope they don't sign Ainsley Maitland-Niles. But either way, I see Wolves having much of the same season and finishing just a place lower in 8th. Next, I have Leicester City in 7th. Leicester had an outstanding start to last season, but then after lockdown completely collapsed. They bottled top 4, and that may harm them mentally. Vardy is getting older, and who knows if he will be able to continue his current level of output this season. Losing Ben Chilwell is a blow, but gaining almost 50 million will be great to reinvest, although at this stage they haven't signed anyone, so we'll have to wait to see who they spend that money on if they do end up spending it on players this transfer window. In 6th, I have Tottenham Hotspur. Unfortunately for them, I have them missing out on Champions League football. Spurs have signed under-the-radar players. Doherty and Højbjerg are good, cheap players and Premier League proven, but what was the point of signing Joe Hart? Maybe just to boost the number of English players in the squad. It's not that I think Spurs will be particularly bad this season, as I'm an Arsenal fan. It's just that relative to the rest of the so-called Big Six, their signings have been squad players, and they have looked average thus far under Mourinho. Although with Jose as their manager, you never know what could happen with Spurs. I think their boom-bust potential is extremely high. In 5th place and just missing out on Champions League football, I have Manchester United. Is it because I'm an Arsenal fan? Maybe. No, but in all seriousness, before United fans slate me in the comments, I do think it will be extremely close, but I have you missing out for a multitude of reasons. I believe you were lucky at parts of the season with VAR and penalty calls. So far, you've made no major signings, although news just broke that you may be getting Donny van de Beek, who is an outstanding midfielder. But it hasn't been confirmed at the time of recording this video, so I can't include him in the team. Bruno is an outstanding midfielder, but Pogba next to him has his health concerns, and your backline is troubling, especially if you persist with David De Gea in goal rather than Dean Henderson. If you do sign a great centre-back like Upamecano and complete the signing of Donny van de Beek, then you most likely will get top 4, but at the time of recording neither is done, so have you just finishing outside the top 4, and I mean just. In 4-5 Arsenal. Now I know rival fans are laughing right now, but just listen to me. We looked good at the end of last season. The FA Cup and Community Shield wins, although they are just those trophies, do bring confidence to the manager and players to trust the process, especially when you beat Man City, Chelsea and Liverpool en route. The signing of Gabriel was 100% complete after his YouTube reveal today, and Partey and Aouar are our next targets. We look set to sell Bellerin, Kolasinac, Socrates and Torreira to fund either or both those two targets. I believe we start the season with a back five of Tierney, Gabriel, David Luiz, Saliba and Maitland-Niles, which will be a massive defensive improvement from last season, and I mean massive. And Albert looks to carry on his red-hot form, so I'm optimistic for this season. And rival fans and fellow Arsenal fans for that matter, please do leave your comments below if you disagree, and I will read and respond to them, I promise. In 3rd place I have Chelsea. Wow, what a summer for Chelsea. The signings of Werner, Ziyech, Chilwell, Malang Sarr, Thiago Silva and even Kai Havertz is pretty much complete according to Fabrizio Romano. I literally believe that Chelsea are a goalkeeper away from challenging, because I'm sorry but Kepa won't cut it for a title challenging side. Saying all this though, I do have a funny feeling there may be some ego problems at Chelsea, and with lots of competition some top players will be guaranteed to get upset. Controlling a locker room of this much talent and potential will be a tall order for Frank Lampard, so let's see how it goes. For this season though, I have Chelsea in 3rd, but closer to the top 2 than 4th. Finishing second and just missing out on the title, I have Liverpool. I'm sorry, Liverpool fans. It's not that I think you will be worse this season. I just don't see Man City being anywhere near as bad, and you haven't made enough signings. The left back from Greece is okay, but hardly a marquee signing. You're interested in Thiago, who is world class, but letting go of Gini Wijnaldum, who is also world class, to get him may disrupt the cohesion of your midfield. In conclusion, this season will be very easy to predict for Liverpool. They will either just win the title or just miss out, and Liverpool fans should not be too disappointed if they do come second, especially if it means they get further in the Champions League this season. And winning the title, surprise, surprise, is Manchester City. Now, I know this may not be a popular opinion, but I believe Pep should have been sacked at the end of last season after losing to Lyon. I mean, Sarri got sacked at Juve and he even won his domestic title. But if they do sign Messi, it will be a massive coup. I'm not sure deep down how I would feel, to be honest. Seeing him in the Prem would be amazing, but at a rival team, it hurts. Either way, the signing of Ake, who, if I'm honest, I'm not a massive fan of, will be a definite upgrade on their current options. And Ferran Torres is a great addition also. But how much will losing Sane cost them? They looked ropey without him for much of last season. And with the departure of David Silva, young Phil Foden will have much more responsibilities and playtime, so let's see how he copes. Either way, I do not see Man City missing out on the title in back-to-back years and seeing them as close champions this season. And so that rounds up my Premier League table predictions for the coming 2020-21 season. Big respect if you made it this far in the video, and please leave your predictions below. Throughout this season, I'll be making predictions of the results of each match week, so be sure to stay tuned for those. Thank you for watching Why Football today. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you next time.